Hi guys, we're back and we're back live. It's no sister to sports. It's the best sporting show in all of the universe. Of course, airing on our band radio scope on Queen's Talk TV on Amazon. A lot of things happen. Looks like a very less busy weekend, but of course, a lot of things happen. Especially if you're a Barcelona fan, you would not like the weekend most definitely. A United fan, United decided to keep Onana. Onana probably would be breaking Guinness Book of Record as the first goalkeeper to concede twice within a 24-hour period. Welcome to the show, and of course, I have Olawale with me. I'm going to allow Olawale to introduce himself to the fans. I hope I will get started on this show today.
So, good day, sporting fans around the world. It's been great, a great weekend of football. From the English Premier League to the Spanish Super Cup, to the AFCON tournaments taking place in Cote d'Ivoire. It's been stories. We'll dive into them with you, and we'll get into basketball too. We have a lot for you in the next 1 hour plus. I hope you take your time and enjoy the show with us.
All right, perfect. Like I said, the AFCON started, the Asian Cup started as well. Lot of and by the way, the Asian Cup is being hosted in Qatar. Beautiful scenery, if you ask me. And you can't just get over it. Olawale wrote a very beautiful piece about the AFCON. You can go onto our website and read of the wonderful piece about the AFCON. What exactly is the AFCON? How and what should we be looking at the AFCON in terms of players when they go back to their various clubs, how some players actually could not replicate their good form after coming back to the AFCON. Where should it be hosted? Olawale made a very wonderful point. The CONCACAF Cup have been held in the United States for a very long time. Why can't we just do that? Why are we hosting this tournament every 2 years? Why not 4 years? Amongst other things. But I won't be able to tell you the nitty-gritty of that until you head to News Instantas, www.newsinstantasport.news, and you read that wonderful article on it and wonderful piece. I hope you don't miss out on that. Anyways, we'll start from the English Premier League. We'll start with Manchester City versus Newcastle. Newcastle were cruising 2-1 ahead of the game, looking like they are at the top of the world until KDB came back, and KDB did what KDB knows how to do best. First, he scored a goal, a well-taken goal, a classic goal, if you ask me. And that pass, oh my word, Olawale. I know we've seen so many great players in the past, but right now, in the entire world, I don't see anybody. Okay, maybe Luka Modric. Maybe Luka. But I don't see those kind of players in the mode of KDB again. And I know we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago when we said KDB coming back, what does it mean for Manchester City? And I don't want to go over it and be energizing KDB, but I can't help it. It looks like the best attacking midfielder in his mode right now in the whole world. And the sad thing is we don't have so many like him or coming superstars like KDB anymore. Olawale.
Yeah, I think what makes the KDB story very, very interesting and makes somebody like me happy was how his game has really evolved. Like, it just shows if you have it, you have it. This was a guy that started his career as a winger, like a complete winger. From there, even though he couldn't really make his mark at Chelsea, went to Wolfsburg, where he now played more as a 10 behind the striker. And we saw that at the World Cup in in Brazil in 2014. By the time City signed him, yes, he played on the right, played on the left. When Pep came in, and he played in with Silva and Fernandinho, the three of them in the midfield, I said City will get run down in the midfield this season. Well, I was proved wrong. He has been a very wonderful player. I think probably in the last 10 years, probably the best player in the EPL. By probably, I think It's probably unarguably. It's been very fantastic. And as in, when you look back at this city's success period, like
Yeah.
you look at him, you probably look at Aguero, Company,
Yeah.
Silva. I think those
Silver.
four guys really, really how will I say, how will I
Make a
put
whole
it?
lot
Like
of difference, and yeah.
they are the ones that are really, they are the face of the city success in these eras since that 20. The guy has just been unbelievable. Not just his assist alone. It's not just
Uh-huh.
like a typical number 10 that wants to he influence the game. I think we said this last week that it just looks like a new sign.
A new sign,
That
exactly.
game without KDB probably would have ended in a loss, or
A draw.
what do you call it, or at probably at
Best.
best draw for City. It doesn't look like it seems. Kudos to Newcastle. They went behind, they recovered. They've been going through some bad spell. They
Yeah.
gave City, they exploited the City high line defense successfully. Not probably counter attack, but again, they make use of their good passes and pace to get those two goals. But again, City came back, even when it seems it was not going to look good for them. Kevin De Bruyne made the difference. They go and assist, like you rightly said. Fantastic performance. And you know, if you look, if you check the reaction on Twitter, it was just like, okay, yeah, this is what we've been waiting for. You could see it like, yeah, KDB is back. You could see everybody saying like, this is different. This is just
Yeah. Yeah.
class. And I think
Yeah.
that is what KDB is all about. And at this stage, not trying to be overreacting or this, I think, like somebody rightly said, it's looking like the beginning of a 14-15 game winning streak for City. Like that's where it looks like, and that's how they eventually end up winning the league. So let's see how Liverpool
Let's see how
and
other
react to this next week.
we are to it. Of course, Newcastle, like you said, has been going through a bad patch. I don't know when that would actually stop. One of their best performers over the past couple of seasons, Great Epia, has been having a nightmare horror show of games. Maybe in the last 5-6 outings, single-handedly has lost them. He has kicked them out of the League Cup. Lost them single-handedly a couple of games in the Premier League as well. So any kind of forte for Newcastle right now looks like a tough one or a long shot. How they come back from that, we don't know. But Ali, going from one good story of KDB coming back as a new, anybody you can definitely see Jordan Sancho being on our screen today. Jordan has gone back to Jando. Sorry, Jando has gone back to BFB Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga, and on his first game back, he got an assist, and away from getting the assist, which I know is a very good story of starting it and whatnot. It looks happy. His statement looks happier, and you see a couple of his past coaches coming out to support him. Rob Bradley came out to say he has never had Jordan Sancho being a problematic kid in the dressing room throughout his spell at United. I think it lasted about 6 to 7 months. The president of Dortmund came out as well. Bruce, the former coach of Dortmund, came out as well. So you begin to wonder how this kid actually did perform at United, and if this is another mistake United made. £73 million is a whole lot of money. You are expected to get the bag coming with that kind of money. You have to perform week in, week out. No doubt about it. But do you think this is a good radiance to bad rubbish, or it's a situation where like, okay, let him go. By next season, probably ETH will not be a United himself, and they'll have Sancho back in the fold. Olale.
Okay, so this story just comes with some kind of, it's the kind of story that just, if you are not a United fan, that just makes you it's a banter material. Like, yeah, if you are not the United fan, it's a kind of story. You just look at the team like you guys just see your life. Okay, so uh, from the rap, probably the Rafranik. I don't know whether if the Rafranik comment probably was a dig at Eric Tenan or whatsoever. I don't know. But again, if Rafranik said that Jordan Sancho was not a dressing room problem to him, yes, it could be right. I think the issue with the Sancho case is this: Sancho might be guilty of whatever we probably have accused him of, probably not having enough, not showing enough commitment, not doing this, not doing that. I think those things could be right.
Yeah.
I think at the same time too, when you look at what Anthony has probably brought into that United team, like his contribution. If you are somebody directly competing with him, like I said when that story came out after the Arsenal game?
After the Arsenal game, yes.
Yeah, like I think I said it on, but I don't know whether it was on this show or I just on one of these WhatsApp group. Like, it is not easy for you to feel like it was very obvious that even when Anthony was not playing well, the coach was ready to give him the next 2-3 years to get himself right. Like, if you are competing with that guy, just like I don't stand a chance. Yeah, like
against this guy, yeah,
against this guy, even though he's bad.
Yeah.
Or even if you don't think you're better than him, but you feel like this guy is not even better than me. I think that's even the right word. It's not even a matter of me better than him, but I don't think this guy is even better than me. And you just sense like, I don't think I stand a chance as long as this coach is around. This guy with, and I think it's a kind of a problem. We've seen it before. I think it's a kind of a problem when managers try to defend their signings. I think what makes managers at times, what makes you a great manager. Like when Pep came into City, one of the player Pep probably didn't like. I won't talk about his game. Probably doesn't just like the player. Is Kun Aguero.
Okay.
It was very obvious.
Yeah.
When he signed in Jesus, the plan was to use Jesus to replace Kun Aguero. In fact, that January when Jesus joined, Jesus started starting game ahead of Kun Aguero. But again, when the following season started, I think the first game against Brighton away from home, he played 3-5-2 to accommodate both of them. But on the long run, he has to go back to his 4-4-3 and we just have to start Sergio Kun Aguero. It took him time before he realized, okay, injury, Aguero could not get back, and that. So even though at times it's not every time you just back your signing blindly.
Yeah, sometimes you be like, okay, this did not work out.
If there's somebody you inherited or you were not the one that signed him that is better than your signing, what makes you a great coach is your ability to accept that, okay, this is not what I envisage.
Yeah.
Sometimes when the beginning of what do you call it, of the end for most coaches is when they want to stick with they want to prove themselves right. It happens. The greatest coaches in this world have signed players that they probably regretted not to have. Okay, they accepted the fact that it wasn't a good signing. So that will not make you a bad coach overnight.
Yeah.
If you ditch your probably most and probably at times it's probably because the kind of money this guy because this same Anthony could have probably been signed for 20 or 30 million pounds. So I think that doesn't make, like you said, the assist doesn't make Sancho a great player overnight. And I think the biggest thing from these saga is, I think there are some couple of players who are probably system players. I think people like them, Sancho, Anthony, I think you could probably categorize them as in the same league as somebody like a Darren Fletcher. even though probably it's not the same way. That the direct reflection of this world are system players who understand their job does very well. Probably if you take them out of that United squad of those years,
Yeah.
to some other teams, they might not be that great
Not
again.
be able to replicate.
I think it is. I think the fact is that United has spent money that you should spend on star players, on guys who are just whose
Regular guys.
performance, whose good performance will be determined by
The
how
environment and kind of players
the environment and how the team itself perform. So
Yeah.
I think
All right.
that's all about. That's for me about. So it,
All
but
right.
as it stands, it doesn't really look good for Eric Ten, if people come, if
Yeah.
you see this
Yeah.
kind of support for him, and in his first game just to come up with an assist.
Yeah, and of course, the last 5 coaches of United, no, sorry, the last 4 coaches of United that lost 10 games in a season has been sacked. Eric Ten Hag has lost 9 already this season, the highest that they've had in a very long time. So if he loses the 10th game, that could be the end of Eric Ten Hag at United. Anyways, moving away from that, we will move into the United versus Tottenham Hotspur game. United gave a good account of themselves at the start of the game. Rashford or Højlund scoring the goal. Rashford has been not so inspiring over the course of the season. He has been woeful, if I could use that word, over the course of the season. Scored as well, and lack of discipline, lack of focus gave Spurs the chance to come back in the second half. To make it 2-2 with that goal. I don't know. I don't want to say a horrific goal by Bentancur, but it's a goal that could have been easily saved by
a player that United fought all this life for not
to keep. United right now, at least they did not lose again against the high-flying Spurs. Because Spurs are high-flying right now. They have their defenders back. The guys that they've lost are like Mickey, Romero, they are back. They lost those guys. All they are needing right now is just to get Madison back, and there could be a spark there even without their inspirational captain, Son. How do you feel after the outcome of this game as a United fan? Is it more of a relief? At least we did not lose. Let's take it one at a time, or we just think this is where we stand right now.
Okay, so as a United fan, I think I'm probably indifferent about the results. 2-2 against Tottenham also probably is not that a bad result considering how Tottenham they drew 2-2 at Arsenal. They drew 2-2 away to what do you call it? Man City. So I don't see it as really a bad result. But again, like you said, beyond the result at times, you have to the major context is the performance, how you tend to perform. United probably had only 2 shots on target, and those are the 2 shots. Those are the 2 shots that led to the goals they had. Beyond that, it was more of this reliance on individual brilliance, which has been what we've been talking about. It's the team probably doesn't really have any system. They concede a lot of chances. If you look at as poor as Onana has been this season, he is in the same category with goalkeepers from Sheffield United, Luton Town, as goalkeepers who have faced more shots. One characteristics of bottom table team is the number of shots their goalkeepers are exposed to, which means they concede a lot of chances. And Andre Onana is in the class of those guys. And as a big team, you don't have to give up those many chances. It talks about your lack of control of games. Because when you don't control games, you give opponent the chance to come at you. So, and it's still the same old United, either counter-attack or relying on the moment to get things done. So I'm probably not too much. For Spurs, I think this is another match where they've proven that they are a great team. I hope this could be sustainable next season. I think one other thing they need to they will need probably to work on is they are giving. I think their highlight could probably be one of the reasons why they are playing this good. But at the same time, I think the reason why they have not been able to probably be where they should be now is they have conceded a lot of goals too. I
Yeah.
think the manager will have a way to strike the balance between how he wants to play and how
Yeah.
not to give out too many chances to
Too many
opponents.
chances. Yeah.
Because if you look at their defenders one on one, they are very good defenders. Pedro Porro, as good as he is going forward, his numbers after 20 games shows that he's one of those guys that had made the highest tackle of any defender in the league, and his success rate is like close to 70%, which the same thing applies to Destiny Udogie, which shows that those guys are on individually and
they are good.
probably the system they are playing is probably demanding too much for them or is exposing them a lot. I think that's one area the coach will probably need to, because it's not every game that
you talking about the system. I feel they cannot continue in this way. If you ask me personally, in terms of the highlight defense, it's not something that I see sustainable in the course of in the league, right? And they cannot replicate this if they want to move forward. They want to get from that regular team to probably an elite team next season. But go ahead.
I agree with you because one thing, if you look at City, one thing City does is City play this slow, intriguing, creative style of play. But one thing they do very well is they don't concede too many chances. At least prior to now, probably not this season. I think this season is a bit different, and it's been like that for every top team, because it is not every game that you outscore your opponents by 3 or 4 goals. Yeah. There are games whereby 1 or 2 goals should be enough for you.
It will be the difference. Yeah.
So I think that's their defensive lapses is one area they have to look at and work on. Because I think if there's any team that should come out of this game and feel disappointed, even though Spurs came behind twice, I still think Spurs should feel disappointed that they didn't win that match eventually.
Yes. All right, perfect. And of course, heading over to Saudi Arabia, where the young man Cruz was actually being booed in their last game because of what he said when one of the young kids in Spanish La Liga moved to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And anyways, away from that, it was a Spanish Supercopa final 2020-2024 season against Barcelona. It looks like Real Madrid now have the number of Barcelona. The game ended 4-1 in favor of Real Madrid. Vini Jr. scoring an hat-trick, and 4 of those goals actually was scored in the first half, with Lewandowski finding his goal scoring boot back on the 33rd minute. But Vini scored 7th, 10th, and 39th minute, and Rodrigo gave the icing on the cake to make it a wonderful one for Real Madrid. I know Barcelona should be scratching their heads that why did we lose this game and whatnot, but I think at this particular point in time, Barca should not feel bad. Barca have had the 40 for so long, and this is a rebuilding phase. This is a phase where they will come back back to their best gradually. Whether Xavi, it's left to be seen whether Xavi is the right man to take them forward or not. But for me, I think is a result they should take with a pinch of salt and move away from that. Balali, I don't know if you feel like that or how a full Barcelona fan would feel like, oh, we lost on this one. This doesn't make sense for us. We should have won, or we needed to win.
I kind of share your sentiments. I think there is this problem with fan base when you have one of, I think the Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, that era between 2006 2006. I think that era started around 2005, 2006
Yeah.
with them Ronaldinho, Guit, and
Yeah.
those guys, Mambomel, before
Yeah.
it's now moved to the Xavi.
Iniesta,
Up
Messi.
until let me say 2 or 3 years ago when Messi left.
Yeah.
I think that era, we could document it that that's one of the best era in Barcelona history.
Yeah.
Without us being capping, because 4 out of the Champions League that they can boast of as a team was won during that period.
In that era.
We won a lot of La Liga. In fact, I can recall probably the number of games they lost to Barcelona, they lost to Real Madrid in those periods. It was more of a Barcelona thing doing that mid 2005 up to like 2018 thereabouts. What you face when you enjoy so much success like that is nobody wants to face the reality. It happens to United. We've seen it with a lot of other clubs. The fans will be arrogant. They just want a quick fix, and everything keep going on wrong. Something came to my mind at the beginning of the season, and I think relatively results was not bad for them then. When Barcelona signed their former academy boy that played at Chelsea, that now went to
Romero.
Is it Oreo Romeo? I forgot his first name. The first thing that came to my mind is, was this guy signed because he's the best for that role? Or we couldn't just find anybody, let's just bring our academy boy back?
There's no money.
You understand? So I think those are the realities I think their fans need to face. I don't think that is exonerating Xavi of anything, but I think this is an era whereby patience will be more. Imagine when you look back, when people are criticizing Xavi now, when you now saying Valverde, Ernesto Valverde didn't even do this worse before he was being sacked, and that was the same Valverde most Barcelona fans, most entitled Barcelona fans doesn't want to hear about. They said he was the one that lost those their comfortable lead in Europe against Roma, against Liverpool. Valverde didn't really do bad in the domestic scene. I think he won a couple of league titles.
Yeah, I did.
So I think what for me, the only word I have for them is, like rightly said, either Xavi is going to be good for this job or not is another thing. But I think it's time for them to be more patient and accept the reality of things.
Exactly.
Academy you won't have those luxury of producing Xavi, Fabregas, Iniesta. Just have this kind of Busquets from the academy. It will not happen every time. United had their own time in the early 90s from the academy. It's not something that will is sustainable.
It's a generational thing. It's not something that will come every time.
You understand? It will just come once in a while. So I saw a documentary on TV this weekend about Sir Bobby Robson and that 1 year stint he had at Barcelona. To put things into context, he won the European Cup Winners' Cup. He won the Copa del Rey that same year. He finished second to Barcelona, and to an extent, he lost Ronaldo da Lima to the Copa America when they had 3 or 4 games to play. He could have won the league, but again, because probably being English, can't speak Spanish, had to rely a lot on Jose Mourinho. And some people feel like he doesn't have this Catalonia, this history. He was sacked after one. Probably he was elevated to a upper, what do you call it?
Echelon.
The upper management role. Even when the season was on, Luis Van Gaal was saying, what do you call it, on the stand. There was already rumor that he was the one taking over. The first thing Luis Van Gaal said in the press conference where he took over is, this is not a Luis Van Gaal team. So you could understand how impatient
they
Barcelona and Real Madrid can be.
Over the past couple of years. It's a cultural thing for them. I agree with you. And when Valverde and Ernesto won that league, Messi came out at the end of the season, I think in their last game, and he said the Barcelona fans, I think it was a warning shot to the Barcelona fans that they don't understand how difficult it was for them to win this league. And it's probably one of the hardest league they have ever won with Barcelona. And it is in eyesight right now, thinking about it, like, okay, he was trying to pass across a message that things are going to get rough, things will not get better, and we could see it with their finances, we can see it with a lot of things. Even Xavi coming out to say he hopes that Victor Roque would be an inspiring signing like Cristiano Ronaldo was for Real Madrid. Goes to show a whole lot of things. Like, okay, this guy, we know you're young.
We just need a messiah at this point. They just need a messiah.
Exactly. At this particular point, you'll be able to spark it and, bring on the momentum for the club. It's left to be seen how that's going to pan out for them.
But you see, you have to feel bad for them because their only easiest way back from all this mess they created is going to be the Super League, and which is probably not seeing the light of the day, at least for now.
Yeah.
As things stands now. So it doesn't look good for them. They will probably have to be very creative with their signings. They have to be very creative with the way they manage resources.
Do they even have the money? Do they even have money to do any signings?
It's not the time. I think this is not the time for them to offend FIFA or UEFA. So they have to be very careful.
Like it's not a good. Whatever way, form, or fashion you want to look at it, it's not a very good one for Barcelona. Even if they decide to take it slow and what at the time, do they even have the money to do it? I probably think it's going to be. It should be a bailout session for them. And like you rightly said, the Super League is the best way for them to get that kind of money they're looking at. Because honestly, nobody's going to sell you. Even those guys, even though these guys are overhyped, most of the football players right now are overhyped. But nobody's going to sell
them to at a cheap price or at a bargain.
Exactly, as a bargain. It's not going to happen unless they want to keep going back to players like Romero, and try to get Messi back on loan in the middle of the MLS and stuff like that.
I think Messi is in the same place in United States as it stands now. I'm not sure he wants to take that. He wants to show that kind of Barcelona pressure.
Yeah. And of course, his career. And of course, Chelsea are gradually coming back, stringing together results, and this is what they need right now. Get back to it. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, they are 7 points off the top 4 right now, which says a good work about what Pochettino is doing. It's a process. It's going to take time. Gradually. Nobody's expecting Chelsea to get back to Europe next season, but if they do, that would be a wonderful and success story for both Pochettino, Todd Boehly, and the entire Chelsea fan base. Of course, Aston Villa played a 0-0 draw against Everton as well. And Harry Kane equaled the record of Robert Lewandowski in the German Bundesliga with 22 goals after the half of the season, which is a very good one for Kane. Kane maybe finally will be able to win a title for himself in the German league, but Bayer Leverkusen are trying to do the spoiler alert for Harry Kane in Germany. They won again over the weekend, 1-0. Their goal came, I think, in the 94th minute or 95th minute. So they are holding tight to the first position in the league. Don't forget, Bayer Leverkusen have not lost the season, and it remains to be seen how the title will play out. We know how it usually plays out. After January, whoever is on top of the league ahead of Bayern will fall apart one way or the other. But Xabi Alonso is not letting go. Olale, is it going to be a shocker if Bayer Leverkusen eventually they win the league this season?
Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, because couple of things. I think you can look at the Bayern record and you feel like, okay, probably they've underperformed. They've actually done very, very well. Yeah. But to find themselves still behind a team like Bayern is a whole lot of, what do you call it? Surprise. Because Bayern on their own this season, they played 16 games. They've won 13. they drew 2
Yeah.
and lost 1. I think that's a very decent record if you ask me.
Different. Yeah.
But they have a team in front of them who has won, who has played 17, have won 14 and drew 3. So even if Bayern eventually wins their their outstanding game, they'll still be 1 point behind Leverkusen. So, and this Leverkusen team, yes, we've started seeing the Alonso work right from last season, but even last season, it wasn't like they finished top 4 or something like that. I think they finished outside.
Yeah, last season was crazy because they were battling relegation. They sacked their coach and brought in Xabi Alonso. And Xabi Alonso just changed everything within the space of 4 months, and they look like a solid team. Not entirely solid that you'll be like, okay, next season these guys are going to challenge for the Bundesliga, right? But
do you understand?
Season,
like Bayern Leverkusen, like rightly said, Bayern Leverkusen finished. I'm trying to look at it. They finished 6th last season.
Yeah.
They finished 6th last season. So, but again, that gives you sometimes there are just some marginal difference between teams. Like, I think it would be shocking if Bayern doesn't win this league.
Really.
Because I think for like 7-8 consecutive years now they've been winning. Last year they were pretty poor. Yeah. Dortmund were poor too, but we felt Dortmund was going to take the advantage.
Yeah.
All to the last game, they eventually lost. But I think Bayern has been pretty solid. Not exceptional this season so far, but they've been pretty solid.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling that as long as the point difference doesn't exceed, it's still within those 2-3 points.
Yeah.
I think it's still Bayern's league to lose.
All right. But of course, and the AFCON results just coming in now shows that Ghana lost their first game against Cape Verde 2-1. Nigeria played a disappointing 1-1 draw earlier in the day. Of course, Ivory Coast, the host, won 2-0, and well, just remind me of the last game right now.
Egypt and what do you call it?
To draw against
Egypt and Mozambique.
Yeah, Egypt needed to celebrate that game with a goal scored by Mo Salah in the 97th minute of penalty. As a matter of fact, and as ESPN put it, they said to spare the blushes of Egypt against Mozambique. You know how the AFCONs could be. And this is a story. It's an historic thing with the AFCON. You see all these new boys coming around like, oh, where are you guys coming from? You know, but I think Nigeria, the last Nations Cup that Nigeria won, we won it against Burkina Faso in the final.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So it's not a straightforward thing when it comes to the AFCON, and especially with the influx of so many foreign-based players coming in. They might be performing very well for their team, and like, this guy is not doing the same for his national team. You know, I will see this time and time again. But I'll just go into the game about Nigeria, and there's pretty much to be done by the Nigerians, but especially in the defense. I feel players like Semi Ajayi is being bullied easily by the opponent. You know, the lack of communication, and Arsene getting stretched off, it is a big loss. The guy was unarguably, I don't know if you share the sentiment with me, but it was arguably the best player for Nigeria today in their match. And in going out of the tournament,
Yusuf guy, that was his name.
You still understand.
But do you know
the guy is Wilfred Ndidi. And honestly, if you look at it and that guy does not come back into the foreign for Nigeria, it's going to be more difficult for Nigeria.
Okay, Debo, let me just tell you this. I think personally, I wasn't looking at the result today. In other matches, Ghana loses to Cape Verde. Egypt had to rely on a late penalty to beat Mozambique. You might probably want to look at the Nigerian result and say, okay, probably that's not too bad.
Yeah.
from the context of the other, what do you call it?
Yeah. But
And
we
like
have
you
to.
said, what we've seen in AFCON of recent, even all
Yeah.
these smaller teams, Equatorial Guinea, all of them, everybody probably have
Okay.
players playing in Europe nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might not be as probably playing for the Liverpool of this world, but again,
Mm-hmm.
they are playing in every corners of Europe now.
Yeah.
So I think the gaps among, what do you call it, African teams, not even the top teams alone, is not
Yeah.
that significant. And that again could tell from what we've seen in the last, I think for the last seven, the last seven editions of the
Yeah.
AFCON. After
Yeah.
Egypt eliminated those three editions from 2006, 8, 10,
Yeah. We've had different winners.
we've had different, from that 2010 up to date. We have Egypt in 2010, Zambia in 2012, Nigeria in 2013, Ivory Coast
Mm-hmm.
in 2015,
Yeah.
Cameroon in 2017, Algeria in 2019,
Yeah.
then Senegal in
Yeah.
2020. That's seven different winners, and that's
Yeah.
unprecedented. That means in the
Mm-hmm.
last 7 editions, nobody has even won it more than one. So it
Yes.
kind of, and even from the result, if you check the last two AFCON, we've been seeing all this kind of result where the so-called
Giants
superpower
are
is
not
actually
giants.
starting to struggle
Yeah.
against all these minors. They get
Yeah.
great guys now. You see a lot of them playing in Portugal, somewhere
Yeah.
in Spain, even the
Uh-huh.
Equatorial Guinea. So if you
Yeah.
look at it like that, you might say the Nigerian game was not that bad. But again, check Nigeria results in the last few games. We defeated Mozambique away from home
Mm-hmm.
in a quality. I think
Qualifying.
it was the Nations Cup qualifier in
Yeah.
October, or that was October 16. With
Mm-hmm.
Mozambique having the God's one record, we defeated them 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
We played 1-1 against Lesotho
Yeah.
in November. We played 1-1 against Zimbabwe also in November. Just some few days ago in a friendly against Guinea, we lost 2-0. So
Yeah.
that kind of show you that there was no start or no performance in the last 4 games that probably shows that Nigeria should beat Equatorial Guinea. I think we'll be struggling with small teams. Like somebody rightly said, there was a game we played against Sierra Leone in Benin Republic that we were leading 4-0 in the first half, and Benin Republic came back to equalize. The Giants looked like broken from that point.
Yeah.
I think the coach needs to do a lot. What this Ayusuf case reminds me of Furo Yeneme in 2000. Furo was not part of the team at all. When the player got injured, I can't remember again. Furo was drafted in, and Furo was starting ahead of Ifetobore Soje, and that was a bit. And this the same thing with this Yusuf guy. You now have to ask the coach. So what was the plan before? If the tournament was suspended or what?
Yeah.
If Yusuf was going to be drafted in because Ndidi got injured and he's starting. So what was his backup? These are kind of things that create confusion. Coach probably just take some players into this tournament just to make up numbers, not really having any plan to use them in the tournament. I think I would not want to overreact, but again, we have to play Ivory Coast next on Thursday. It's going to be tough. I think it's going to be in the evening. The weather should be more favorable. Probably
we can't afford to lose our chances. I think that's
so we need to do better combating. And the problem with us is we don't create so many chances that the few ones we create, we have to be very efficient in front of goal.
Exactly.
So let's see how it goes.
That miss by Victor Osimhen, the second one, the one by Ziadu Sanusi as well, the open goal miss. Those are kind of things that we cannot afford
to do at this level.
Exactly.
For me, I think a draw against Ivory Coast in the next game will not be bad. So far, we can get a win against Guinea-Bissau because I don't think we have enough. Because I've not seen us playing any big team in the last few years to say we could likely win that game. So I think I will take a draw in that game and probably a win in the last, and let's see how it goes from there. Okay. I think the gap between, like I said, between some of these teams are not that bad. Probably if you remove Senegal and probably Morocco to an extent, everybody seems to be a bit at par. Results shows that.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Now, of course, from there would be moving into the world of basketball, where we have a couple of discussions that we want to talk about. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back, and of course, we'll be jumping into the world of basketball. And this is an analysis that I had to do by myself last weekend because Wale did not join on time. But here, since I have him here today, it is something I would love to talk about again with him. And this is concerning the issue with LA Lakers right now. I feel ever since the end of the in season tournaments, they've been gradually dwindling from being having a fan players being in the fan player stuff. They have been moved out from the and from the even the playing position right now for the LA Lakers, and of course, um, and that begs the question: what exactly is happening with the LA Lakers? Is it a coaching problem? Is it a personality problem? Is it a motivation lack of motivational problem for them right now? And these are things that you obviously want to touch about. Whether it's the personality. For me personally, I feel the personality is not as bad as it were. Maybe last season we'll be like, okay, AD is not playing very well. AD is not available for the team. But AD has been available for the better part of the season. LeBron James has been playing as well. Even Father Time is kind of catching up with LeBron, but LeBron has been playing as well. So for me personally, I don't think it's a personality issue. Cam Reddish, the Russell, Vanderbilt, and the rest of the guys to Reeves. These are not bad players in any way, form, or fashion. And the result we're seeing is quite different from the personalities that we have in the court. Losing against the Grizzlies, losing against Utah Jazz, those are games that okay, the Lakers should be winning on that. If they are expected to win, maybe when they are playing against the Suns, you understand. Oh, okay, the Suns are more better than them. They're playing against Dallas Mavericks. You're like, okay, the Mavs are better than them, and among other things. So, Lali, is it like a coaching issue, a personal issue, or is just a lack of motivation? And what do you think is the best way out? I feel a change in decision making from the bench is very important right now for the LA Lakers. Well, is house right now, so I'll just keep going at it. For me personally, I think is a coaching issue. There's a need for them to get someone with fresh ideas into the team, make most of what they have, how to be defensively better. Offensively, they are not bad. AD is dropping the points. LeBron is doing his own part as well. But there's a need for a change. The role players need to come to the role players need to come to the party and do their own part for the most part, which is very, very, very important. So a change in coach will be a good one for the Lakers. And I'm looking at for I don't know, I can't remember his name, the former coach of the 76ers. Olali, if you can remember his name, please remind me. I can't remember. I've been trying to remember that his name for the past 30 minutes or thereabout. And I'm looking at his face right now. I can't remember his name. Olali.
Okay,
No, no, no.
okay.
Former coach of the 76ers, and I was still with them till last season before it was sacked
Even me,
after.
I was trying to. What's the name of this man?
I can't remember his name for crying out loud. Okay. Anyway, so
Uh,
do you think it's a personal issue for personal
well,
issue for the Lakers, or the fact that they are not, they're not doing fine. They need to do better. Okay, Doc Rivers.
the
Um,
free bars, yes.
yeah. So, like, what exactly is the way out for them? Honestly, for me, it's becoming concerning, and the players are voicing out. little by little.
I think basically for me, I think the Lakers number one. I think if you look at the what do you call their roster, it's a kind of a roster that you think is built based on what do you call it? Defense first. I think defense is their what do you call it? That's the strength of that roster because offensively, it's not like they have too many guys who are great offensively, especially in the backcourt. D'Angelo Russell, yes, not a bad defender, but he's not a great defender offensively. He's not a kind of a player that you think his game is that predictable.
Yeah,
Austin
exactly.
Reeves, what Austin Reeves brings to the table offensively too is not great enough for you to overlook his defensive shortcomings. So as it stands now, I think, and you've seen the coaches during the course of the season, he has tried to tweak, what do you call it, the starting five, trying to see if he can. Yeah, there was a time Austin Reeves was what was taken to the bench just to the reserve room just to see if it gives the team the right balance. I think AD has not been bad. I think they need a legitimate either two-way guard or a very, very superior guard that even if he's not great defensively, what he brings in offensively, you can make you to overlook what do you call it, his defensive or what do you call it, shortcomings. Like a player like Kyrie is not probably the greatest of defenders, but because of what you call it, doing his this with the Cleveland Cavaliers, because of what he brings offensively, you just need to find a way to build a team around a team around him. The same thing can be said of Steph Curry and somebody like Jamal Murray. So I think one way or the other, I think the Lakers will certainly do something. What do you call it? Doing the before the close of the what do you call it? The trading deadline. So I think they will do something. Whether they are going to change the coach is what I don't know. It's not out of possibility because we've seen LeBron reaction somehow. But again, it's going to be interesting to see how that's developed. As it stands now, the Lakers and the Warriors might miss out on the playoffs. As it stands, I'm not saying that's how it's going to.
Yeah. As it stands, they've missed out on the playoffs. If this is the end today, none of them will be in the playoffs. So it's almost ridiculous for them to have to go through the playing. But the West is well stacked right now in such a way that all the teams are not looking bad.
Even the Suns are still struggling.
Yeah, even the Suns are struggling. Exactly. It's only my Clippers, and I need to get a Clipper jersey anyways. My Clippers are looking to be going on the horizon. And staying on that, I understand the Clippers are going upward in terms of horizon and whatnot. And people like you and Kachi were prophet of doom, and as well as Tunji. I was the only one on this show that held my ground where you guys were trying to bully me, because it was actually the three of you against me that on that particular show. I'm like, let's give them a chance. Let's see what they can actually do. Like, no, they're going to include these things. You guys, the three of you actually spelled doom for them even before the situation unfolded. But the question is, and which everybody is asking, okay, you're doing it in the regular season. Can you replicate it when it comes to the real time, which is the playoff season? Can you do it? And I was watching Kendrick Parker Perkins was like, oh, okay, I see you, but you were the same guy that I played when we played together. And he's pointing the accusing figures as they made it. Do you think these Clippers, I know they're going to end the regular season pretty well, solid, top four at the very least in the West, top four at the very least, unless something happens which is bad happens, maybe Paul George decides not to play basketball again or something happens to Kawhi Leonard, because even when Kawhi is not playing and Paul is playing, they're playing well. When Paul is not playing, only Kawhi is playing, they're playing well. When they've lost both guys together, they're playing well. So it looks pretty good, solid for them. But what we expect from them is a ring, especially when they are moving into their new arena in 2026, where they won't be NBA All-Stars games. Who be hosting the All-Star games for the 2026 season? Do you think they will be able to replicate it at the playoffs?
Okay, so now I think sometimes there is context to everything. What Kennedy Perkins said about he was talking about James Harden or something like that.
I was talking about
this was wrong. James Harden was, or what do you call it, was their sixth man then. He usually starts from the bench, and he had a fantastic series. I remember there was one of these games they lost to Miami Heat, and I think he scored for something point in that game. I think he can't accuse him of that. I think he was just capping. But looking at the Clippers, since Paul George and Kawhi Leonard joined them after Toronto won the championship in 2019, 2020 was that COVID year that we had that, what do you call it, the playoffs in an isolated environment. I think that was the
just call it
the bubbles. I think that was the only season where you can look at them and say this guy really flopped. 2021, I think injury cost them. I think injury cost them. I think the Kawhi injury really that season, and I think Kawhi as somebody got injured doing that. I think Paul George came back, but again, if Kawhi was not injured that year, there was I think that was a year you just feel like it was destined to be the Clippers versus the Brooklyn Nets in the finals. The Phoenix Suns got to that finals because they played an LD Clippers team in the finals. What do you call it? Bucks. In fact, one of the members of the Bucks team in that year, Jeff T, said the Bucks were really afraid of the Brooklyn Nets right until Kyrie got injured. You get, so that was 2020. That was 2022. It was the same issue. They couldn't get LD. The same thing last year. If Kawhi and Paul George were not injured, I'm not sure I'm not sure the Suns would have defeated them in that first round. So
100%.
I think bringing in James Harden now, I think gives them some kind of leverage in terms of, even when this one is injured, we could still have these two
to fall back on.
If injury will be very, very fair to them, I see probably as it stands today. Again, we don't know what will happen tomorrow, depending on what.
That's the crazy thing about the NBA.
As it stands today, I think in a 7-game series, you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are a very young team, and they have their own size issue. Timberwolves, I think the problem with Timberwolves is going to be when games get into, what do you call it, close games, when games are very slow. I think their half-court basketball, their ability to create shots when everything is set, when both teams are not flying up and down, when it is like one possession after one possession. I think I don't really trust them enough when it comes to that. And that's why you look at probably the Denver Nuggets and the Clippers as it stands today. The Clippers are currently 4th, and they are not too far away from the top 3. So they can even still make inroads into that top 3 or top 2 in the Western Conference. So as you're asking today, I think they can do it, provided
they can stay ready.
Injury.
They did look on that side. Alali, just before we go, because we're running out of time right now, where should Pascal Siakam go to? It's going to be a free agent at the end of the season, so they need to trade him out right now. He's not willing to stay in Toronto. Where do you think he should go to? It
boils down to what Pascal Siakam wants.
Yeah,
does he just want?
Well, where
does
would
he
it
want a
be?
paycheck? Does he just want a paycheck? A team that will probably pay the max, or he wants a paycheck at the same time he wants to compete? I think those are the things that will determine, because I think he has the leverage as it stands now.
Yeah.
His contract is going to expire at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Any team that trades for him now will probably want to get the assurance from him that
It's going to.
is going to, what do you call it, renew with them. Unless you are trading him for another player. If you have players on your own team that they are on expiring contracts,
Yeah.
if that is what you are trading him for, that is when it makes sense. So for Toronto, I don't think Toronto has too many leverage. A lot of teams do not offer them much. But one team that people have touted that if they sign Pascal Siakam, it probably elevate their chances of winning, and that has been the Dallas Mavericks. Many people believe it helps their what do you call it? Because one of the problems with Dallas Mavericks is defensively, in their forward position, they don't really. Both Kyrie and Luka are both guards. They play the point guard and the shooting guard position. Many people believe, what do you call it? Dallas doesn't have any elite forward player as it stands now. Yes, what's the name of this guy they signed from Celtics? Something Williams. Their new
Williams is just one of those guys. He's
yes,
not
and this guy they just drafted. I forgot that this is their new center. Yes, those guys, but if Pascal Siakam gives them an elite player in the forward position, and it gives them they become very difficult to guard in clutch situation when you can't double team Kyrie, you can't double team Luka. At the same time, you can't leave Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam also have, what do you call it, a post game. He can play in the interior, so it gives them different options. But I don't know the trade package Dallas will be willing to give. But I think Dallas Mavericks is one team a lot of people has considered to be a perfect fit for Pascal Siakam.
All right, perfect. Of course, Ja Morant is out of the season, unfortunately for the Grizzlies. The Suns' big three looks to be coming together as it stands right now, and the Australian Open is back already. Yannick Sinner off to the next phase of it, and the Rublev as well. To the Freaks, Novak Djokovic had a scare, but it did came over that to move to the next round, and therefore 2 has moved to the next round. Sabalenka, Leah Fernandez in the male version, and Carola Wozniak is through to the next round as well. As things is up in the Australian Open, we'll be sure to bring you all that and more as things goes or falls in the Australian Open. Of course, we'll see you again next week. We'll be discussing yet again football, basketball, and the tennis. My name is Aleja Adebo, and I have my lovely co-host with me here, Olawa Leti. We'll see you again next week. Bye, guys.
Yeah, bye.